Hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for subscribing so far. If you're new here, you're highly welcome. This is the channel you can ever subscribe to. I bet you that, because what you'll be getting here is full videos, well detailed. Okay, I urge you to subscribe. This is the best channel that you can ever subscribe to, though we are still growing. We just started out in this YouTube channel, so I'm grateful that you're here. So kindly subscribe, share, like, okay, and comment, so that I will know your thoughts and know how to serve you better, know how to be dropping videos. Okay, in today's video I'm going to teach you how to sew a pinafore gown. Just stay through to the end of the video. It's a full video from the pattern drafting to the finishing level. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay guys, in today's video I'm going to show us how to sew a pinafore gown. So the first one we are going to sew is the one that has just straight cut. Then the next one will be the one that has print, like a v-neck or something like that. So a pinafore gown is just a gown that a gown that requires you to wear a top inside. Okay, when you wear a gown, and you still need to wear a top inside, because it's armless and it doesn't have a full basic bodice. All right, so it doesn't have a full basic bodice, depending on the design that you want to make it. All right, so a pinafore gown is simply a gown that requires a top to be worn inside of a gown. Okay, so that's basically what a pinafore gown is. So the first one I'm going to sew is the straight one. So this type that I'm going to make right now, draft the pattern right now, this is the fabric that I'm using. It doesn't consume. One thing with pinafore is it doesn't consume fabric, right? So the basic bodice pattern, like that's the top part of it, the upper part of the body of the dress, doesn't consume fabric. So it's just a halfway. It doesn't have sleeve. It doesn't have sleeve. It doesn't cover the upper part of the body fully, because it will require you to wear top, long sleeve or turtleneck inside, right? So I'm just going to go ahead to start drafting the pattern. So the first thing is to fold. It's going to be on 4 folds, right? It's going to be on 4 folds. This is the first fold, that's into 2. Fold it into 2. And remember, before you start, you also check the dimension of your fabric. So I think I'm just going to make mine face downwards, because the upper part, the skirt, is facing downwards, so it's going to face downwards. Then I'll fold it as I'm doing so. Same way so I will take the full measurements. You know, it's just going to end at the waistline. Okay, we are first of all drafting the upper part of the pinafore gown. So this is 29. So the next thing I'm going to do, once you fold it into 2, you go ahead to fold it again, that's into 4. Now, because this is a pinafore gown, is what you're going to use to draft it is your bust span. That's your nipple to nipple measurement. That's what you're going to use for this pattern drafting. So my nipple to nipple measurement, or my bust span measurement, is 8, right? 8. Because this thing is on 2 folds, or is on 4 folds, you are cutting both the back panel and the front panel together, and it doesn't have a zipper, right? It doesn't have. You're not going to fix the zip on the upper part of the dress. Your zip is going to start from your skirt, right? So it doesn't need. So we're not going to put any zip allowance, because it's not going to have any zipper. So I've folded it into 4. This is 4. Now I'm going to take measurement of my bust span measurement. So my bust span measurement is 8. When I divided 8 by 2, it gave me 4. So plus 1 inch allowance, it will now be 5. So it's going to be 5. So this is 5. This type of pinafore doesn't require it to be too wide. The width is not supposed to be too wide, so that the beauty will come out well. Okay, this is exactly 5. All right, when you've taken note of your horizontal measurements, right, you've taken note of the width of your folded fabric. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take the length, note the length of your measurements. So my half length, my waistline measurement is 16. So I'm just going to mark 16 right here and square it across. So this is 16. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to take our neckline. So my neckline is going to be 3 by 3. Just want it to be up, right? This type requires it to be up. If you're making turtleneck, you can also use it for turtleneck or something. So it's going to be 3 by 3, or you make yours 3 by 2 or 3 by 2.5, depending on what you want. So I'll just go ahead to use my curve ruler to connect it. You can use a freehand sketch. So now this is my shoulder. This is my shoulder. I don't need to bring it down, because at this shoulder is where I'm going to fix the, it will have a hook at the shoulder line. Okay, so this is basically it. We'll cut off the neckline and the waistline. Now if you're fixing band, though I'm still going to give us teach us the one that will have band. All right, so if you're fixing your band, remember to remove your 2 inches. So I'll just cut it out. So this is it. We'll cut the neckline, but it's looking as if it's going to be deep. Okay, it's not going to be deep. I don't want it to be deep. So I don't want it to be deep. So 3 by 3 inches is okay for me. Or you can make the back side 2 inches so that it will come up, and the front side 3 inches. Or you can make the back panel 1 inch or 1.5 inches. So it all depend on what you want. So I'm just going to cut cut the neckline. So I'll open up this side straight up. So this is it. This is how it is. Okay, this is how it is. So we are going to trace it out on our lining. We'll trace it out to the lining, and the lining is going to be of equal length. Do you understand? The lining is going to be of equal length. So this is what we have here. So let's trace it out on our line. I've already cut the down part is going to be flay. So I've already cut out a flay, and I hope you already know how to cut your flay skirt, right? So the flay skirt, I've already cut it out, and we are going to, after tracing it this pattern to the lining, then we'll go ahead to the sewing machine and sew it. We'll close up everywhere. So we'll even close up one side of the shoulder, sew it together, then leave one shoulder together for hook, where you put your hook. You can use your hook and eye for it. You can use any type of hook that you have for it. You can use button. Okay, you can use a big button or a fancy big button just at the shoulder, where you can you can remove it when you're putting on the clothes and when you're removing the clothes from your body. So I've finished tracing it out to the lining. Okay, so if you want to turn it over, you can make the lining shorter, right? So the lining is of equal length with the fabric. So we'll go to the sewing machine and sew it. I'll show you how to sew it. Okay, so we are going to sew our pinafore. Okay, you can use anywhere as the front or any part or for the back panel. So this is the front panel, this is the back panel. So we are going to sew. What we are going to do is you are going to place your lining. Okay, let your lining face the positive side of your fabric. Okay, this is how you place your lining. Then sew the neckline first. Then we are going to sew round everything, close it up, then turn it over. Okay, but we'll first of all start with the neckline. Okay, remember I said that it's going to have button at the shoulder, or hook and eye, or hook, okay, at the shoulder, so that it will enable you, when you want to remove it, you'll be able to remove it. Okay, so let's go ahead to sew our neckline.
So I finished sewing the neckline. The next thing you're going to do is you are going to notch, okay, notch all the way, then we will stop stitch. Okay, after notching, ensure that you notch so that notch, and when you're notching, be careful so you don't cut the stitches that you run. Okay, so after that we are going to top stitch, and what you do is you top stitch towards the lining as I'm doing so. I finished top stitching. This is how it is looking. Okay, so this is the front panel, how it is. This is the back panel. So the next thing you're going to do is we are going to stitch like both shoulders, stitch on the shoulders, okay, on both shoulders, then now sew on both sides, close it up and close it halfway, then now bring it out. Okay, turn it over. So once you sew at the neckline, after top stitching, it will now give you direction on how to fold it to sew your shoulder. Okay, so we'll just close up our shoulder. So I finished sewing the shoulders, the both shoulders. So the next thing I'm going to do is we'll run the side stitches. Okay, that's how you run both sides. So just keep watching. I finished running stitches on both sides. Okay, so I'll just sew this place, stop somewhere here, and now turn it over. So just watch closely. So I'll sew at the down parts. So now I'm going to trim off these places and notch it, then we'll now open it up. Okay, that is how we'll do it. So let's turn it over. I'll turn it over. You bring out the corners. Okay, so what we'll now do now is see how it is, how beautiful it's looking. So what we'll do now is we are going to push this place inside, following this place, and now top stitch on it. Top stitch on it to close it up. I'm showing in this video, please. So this is how it is. Okay, this is how it is. We are going to sew the other part. This is how the back is looking, the negative side or the inside is. So we sew the other side. This is the back panel. Both the back and the front panel are the same. Okay, so this is the front panel. We'll go ahead to sew the front panel. Okay, so using the same method that we used to sew this one to sew this one. So let's go ahead to sew it. After sewing both, we'll now iron it to lay it flat and make it look smooth and neat. So I finished sewing the both sides, and this is how it is looking. They are of equal length, equal size. Okay, you iron it. If you're sewing your own, you iron it, but currently they have just taken the light. You know, this is Nigeria. So I'll go ahead to fix it to my skirt, my flace skirt. So I finished drafting my flace skirt. I finished sewing it and I turned it over. This is how it is looking. Okay, so the link is just below. Check the description button. Okay, I sent the link, so check the description to know the link on how to, so that you check it out, so that you know how to cut out your flace skirt, how to sew a flace skirt as a beginner. Okay, note the center of these ones too, both of them. Just going to note the center, or hold it together to note the center, so that everything will be aligned. It will not be one-sided. Okay, Just note the center. Now this kind of pinafore, the one I'm making, doesn't have a band. It doesn't have waistband. So this is the center. I'll just mark the center with my chalk. This is the center. Okay. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take out my waistline. My waist circumference is 26.5. So what you do is you take it out. This is where I marked it, 26.5. Now fold the fabric, your skirt, into it's folded already. It's into 2 folds already. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to fold it again. That's into 4 folds, meeting the point, your waist circumference point, where you marked for your waist circumference. So that's where it will be. Then now take the midpoint. Okay, you're going to take the midpoint of it, and that's where you're going to start fixing. You fix your pinafore, the upper part of the pinafore gown that you're making. So you take note of the midpoint. So this is it. So now after taking the midpoint, this is the midpoint. What you're going to do is the midpoint of this one, you're going to start joining it. Let it match the midpoint. See, the positive side of the fabric is facing, of the pinafore, the upper part is facing the positive side of the flace skirt. So you're just going to match it. Use your pin to secure it, okay? Use your pin to note, to hold it before sewing. So I'm done using my pin to secure this one. So this is how it is looking. So I will go ahead to use my pin to secure this other side, then we'll sew it. Okay, this is it. So this is the midpoint of this one. You match it, positive side facing positive side of the upper part, facing the positive side of your flace skirt. So I finished securing it with my pin. So we'll go ahead to sew. This is how it's looking. So we'll go ahead to sew it all the way, then sew the other side, and we'll fix our zipper. So just watch me as I sew, okay? As you're sewing, you're removing your pins. So I'm done sewing it, the both sides together. This is how it is looking, okay? This is how it is looking. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to fix our zipper. After fixing our zipper, then we'll now stitch one of the shoulders like this, stitch it. Then one of the shoulders will have either a hook or a button, just this way, the way it is like this, okay? So let's go ahead to fix our zipper, then one of the shoulders, and that will be it for the pinafore. All right, so I will come down here and stitch it by the side all the way, leaving the inches for my zipper. So we are going to fix our side zipper, okay? So this is where my waist circumference ended for this side. Then this side, this is where it ended, okay? This is where it ended. Remember that I stitched this place from the down part all the way, okay, inside, then I turned it over. So let's fix our zipper. Here is where I marked for the hip circumference, okay? So I'm just going to fold it in as so. Fold it in, then let it match with. Fold it in like so. Ensure that it connects. So this is how the bag is. This is how it is. Then in one place my zipper. Place it as so. And now sew it. Please like, share and subscribe. Please subscribe. That is the end of this video, and see how beautiful this pinafore gown is looking. Can you see it? Very beautiful.